yet again. Today's video is mainly going to be about my spiritual experiences and how I have learned to cope and what exactly I've learned to do in terms of protecting myself and also protecting others around me. I'm kind of looking at some notes because if you can't tell by my other ones, I like to talk and I have it all out here and I want to make sure that I cover everything and I don't ramble too much. Now this is for my friend Gypsy Witch on Twitter. She's absolutely fantastic and she has always been there for me whenever I've been sick or down and needed some energy or just needed a good laugh. She's always been there for the past year or so now. And I thought, oh well, she requested it, might as well do something for her finally. So, as we talked about, I believe it was in my intro video, I have seen spirits since I was a very, very young child. The youngest I remember was some things around 4. And then as I grew, the first one I actually can physically see and remember, I was 6. And they have come and gone since, and they have not stopped. And now, what has happened because of that? I'm sorry, I have a puppy visitor again. You're gonna be famous on Twitter and on YouTube. But the first one I ever saw was a shadow figure, and it really scared me because growing up and seeing shadows and ghosts, scary shadow ghosts are the worst kind, and da. So I was terrified, and I screamed, and for the next probably until I was 9 or 10, I slept with my mom. I wouldn't sleep upstairs. I wouldn't go up there. You couldn't pay me to go. I wouldn't go. And then things sort of simmered down. I would see them from time to time, but no one else in my family had this ability, or at least would admit to it. Whereas I was too young and I was seeing things that I shouldn't have been seeing, so I was freaking out trying to tell everybody, oh my god, do you see that? Because at least in the beginning when you're little, if no one else sees you kind of feel like you're a bit crazy. So, like I said, they would come and go. I just sort of got used to it. I was still terrified, mind you, but what was I going to do about it? I wasn't calling them to me, but I couldn't make them go anywhere. So, what sort of went on was coping, putting up with, and then I hit puberty. And along with hormones being jacked up and everything else being spiked up in your body, that spiked. And I saw them everywhere. And more frequently and in more numbers. And I was staying at my grandparents' house. This was my first scary one. I was watching a movie that I'd seen 1,000,001 times. It was my favorite movie. Knew it back to front and everything else. Knew every scene by heart. And I was watching it and I was writing in a journal. And I was sitting up on my bed and I was watching this film and I heard something breathing next to me. And like I said, up until this point, I've been putting up with and ignoring. But I don't know if it was confirmation what I needed or I thought if I confronted it, it could go away. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But I turned, and when I would have saw what was there, I blacked out. And I didn't see anything. It didn't fade. It went from everything to black in an instant. And I'm not prone to fainting episodes. I've never passed out in my life. And I felt so angry. And while I might have a temper if you offend me, I'm not a naturally angry person. I'm a very loving person. Smile a lot. I'm not angry. And I've never felt so angry in my entire life. Before or since. And it wanted me to hurt somebody. And I'm like, what? I don't want to hurt anybody. It honestly, as much as spiders scare me, I feel bad every time I step on one or whatever. I feel bad because it's a living thing. I cannot imagine hurting another human being. I can't. And I don't know how I got rid of it. I don't know how I pushed it out. But it went out. And I went downstairs screaming and crying, and my grandpa's so-called explanation was that I had passed out, I'd fainted. When I came to, I don't know how long after it had been, I hadn't looked at the clock. If the passed out theory would work, I either would have fell backwards, because I was sitting up on my bed writing in a journal, or I would have fell forward onto the book. I was sitting straight up, and I slouch, I have bad posture. Straight up. And I still was holding the pen in my hand. I hadn't written anything creepy like die or something, I hadn't written anything. But if I'd passed out, I wouldn't be holding a pen. And like I said, if you remember, I was watching the film, one of my favorites. I'd already seen this part in the film. The movie had rewound about 10 minutes. That I can't explain. I don't know how or why. There was nothing wrong with the VCR. Yes, it was a tape. VCR still works to this day. We've never had a problem. You draw what conclusions you will. After that, I couldn't really see them anymore. It was a feeling thing. I don't know if when I turned I saw something and my mind sort of blocked it out. I don't know. All I know is it has shifted, it has changed, and now I feel them more than see them. Although I still do see shadow figures and I'll see glimpses. The seeing is coming back. I think I'm sort of recovering. But I mean, I'm 21, about to be 22. I was 13, 14 at the time, so whatever it is, it must have scared the ever-living hell out of me. So whatever, I'm dealing with it. I'm accepting it more as I age. And la-di-da, I get to university. And oh my god, if you have any sort of spirit ability, wait till you get on a college campus. It will hit you in the face. There are so many things roaming around places like that. And I'd never really been to one before other than for tours. But there are some freaky things walking around university campuses. I'll just leave it at that. But, my first semester kind of went down without a hitch. I was seeing more shadow people, and that was before what I am now, and I was just sort of starting to see them again. And then, I'm trying not to ramble. Okay, I'll put it out there. It was my second semester, and my uncle had died, in February, before, we were on winter break. And, that was really hard for me. I really loved my uncle. He was quite a huge factor in my life from what I considered. And here's a little spiritual tip. Don't ever think one is your family until you have some concrete evidence for months and months upon visitations, and even then be careful. Because basically, what happened, I thought a spirit who visited me was my uncle, put his hand on my shoulder, and it felt like him, and I instantly thought, Steve. And I ended up being wrong. And the worst part of being wrong is once you talk to it, once you confirm, or because I thought it was my uncle, I inadvertently gave it permission to stay. And what that means is I basically give it free rein to do what it will. And I had nightmares that I was being attacked and raped in my sleep for about a month after. Non-stop. My roommate and I were sitting in our room, and I had about that much of a gap from the door to the floor of our room, so if someone was out there being stupid, we could look under the door and see feet. Something was knocking the door so hard that it nearly came off of its hinges. We looked under the door, there were no feet. And I also had these little storage totes that I had a lot of stuff in from moving. There was something in them, making them run around, and I had quite a lot of things in there. It shouldn't have been able to do that. It was heavy. And then, from it tormenting me all the time because it would talk constantly, and I wouldn't understand what it was saying. To this day, I don't know what language it was speaking or what. No idea. And I was getting no rest. I was going crazy. And someone did something stupid in front of me, and it really made me mad, and I went black again. And again, I'm not prone to blackouts, and I'm not prone to blackout anger things. That's not me. I jumped on the guy, and I had him around the neck. And then I realized I have to go. I gotta do something. This isn't me. This isn't who I am. And to this day, I don't know how I got rid of it. It was talking, and it was sort of that I could hear it outside, but it was also like running through my head. I don't know what it's saying. And I screamed something back. I felt something around me. I felt something uplift me, and I screamed something back. Words I don't know. Don't know to this day. And it instantly went away. After a month and a half of endless torment, scratches on my chest, all kinds of crazy shit, it was gone. Those are my two worst ones, although I have had a couple since that have been scary, not like that. After that one is what led me into finding witchcraft and finding ways in which I can protect myself, people around me, and my home. Basically, what I do is I can help what I consider normal, which is everyday, average people who pass away and don't know what's going on. Where am I at? Or they're not happy about it. They can be a bit cranky, a bit pissy, but they don't attack you. They're just mad that they're dead. I would be. Hey. So, it takes a lot of patience. You are never really alone. You are seen naked by a lot of different spirits, and they will come and go. You can't control it. And if anybody thinks you can, they are wrong. You don't know what it's like to live with this. Sometimes it's quite a blessing, but it's also quite a curse because you are in danger a lot of the time. But you feel so blessed because you're able to help people in a way that very few others can. But it's by no means easy. And my patrons have helped me with that. Anubis kind of helps protect me, and he gives me the ability to judge. Good or not so good? Are they crazy, gonna attack me, kind of demon-y almost? Or are they average, they're just cranky, and they want to get on over? I have to make that distinction, and sometimes it can be very confusing, but depending on the anger level of the spirit, to define whether or not they're just a mad human spirit, or a mad something else. And Artemis, who I don't talk about as much because she's sort of standoffish. She will, because she's connected with the moon, what she does is she guides me with the moon in a way. And what I always think of, people always say there's a light when you're crossing, and for me, when I help them cross, I like to think that she helps use that light from the moon to help that be possible. And she also guides me through the scariest parts when I think, well, I'm done. It's got me. She helps bring me back that confidence and bring me back to the reality of, no, Hawk, you've got this. And that's their involvement with that. But trust me, if this is your life and this is what you have to deal with, you're gonna need a lot more. Especially as you grow, because as you age, it will change. It will fluctuate between how much you see, what your abilities are. If you have a period of time where there's more smells instead of sight, or you sense more than you see, or you see more than you sense, it will shift. What I suggest for those of you who are dealing with this, and for practitioners in general, because you may not know, or think, oh, I'm safe, when you cast, you make yourself vulnerable anyway. So even if this isn't something you deal with on a daily basis, you can be put at risk. Protect your house. I do every couple of months a house blessing with some incense and some salts. And I also put salt rings outside of my front and back doors when things are getting hot and heavy and I can't predict what's going to happen. And make sigils. Look into making sigils. My husband's a sigil maker. I'm not. But up until that point, we had stuff coming in, especially the bad things, in and out, in and out, in and out the house. Ever since then, no one has gotten into my home again. And it has felt so liberating because I don't have to be on a constant defense as high as I was. Coming back to that, you also have to protect you. Because while it might attack others in your family, which we will talk about later, it is you, okay? You need to wear amulets or have them nearby just in case you feel threatened or nervous. They will help you if you believe that they will help you, okay? They need that oomph, that belief, that energy to make them work. You also need to start meditating and sort of building what I call my psychic wall. That also is kind of like when you're casting a circle and you're calling upon all the directions and the quarters and whatnot, and building that little bubble around you to keep you safe. For those with this, I recommend to train your mind to have one up constantly. Because if not, it could drive you nuts. You need to be protected. You need to feel safe. And while initially it will drain you, it's not easy. It's a necessity, in my opinion. And that's something you need to work on your own. You need to meditate and envision this wall around yourself, around your mind, and that part, because as strange as it is, when something weird spiritually is happening, there's a spot on the back of my head that'll feel funny, that'll feel different, and then the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You sense all this stuff. But that's always my thing. That's my warning sign. So, you need to build this wall to, one, make that stronger, make your senses stronger, so when something hits that wall and says, hey, I'm around, what? You will know instantly. Because especially, now we're getting to the nitty-gritty, if this is something you have, you need to tell those around you, especially those you live with. Maybe not other people in your family. If they're just going to attack you, be like, oh, you're not seeing anything, you're just making it up for attention. No. If you're living with someone, they need to know. As uncomfortable as it make them, and trust me, I shared a room with my sister and it drove her nuts for me to tell her every time there was a spirit around, but I thought she should also be on her guard. That's not fair to have that walking around, and I know, and you could potentially be at risk. I'm telling you as a favor. Trust me. So, and the one thing you really have to think about, and this is why maintaining a house blessing is crucial, and everything you can potentially do to protect your home and those in it, if you decide to have a family. Because it doesn't care. I've had one attack my husband, and that makes me feel bad because I wasn't able to stop it. Oh, I got rid of it with a vengeance, but I wasn't able to stop it in time, and that will happen. We are human. We weren't given a rule book or an instruction book with this. You learn. And especially with children, you need to be vigilant. You need to build a psychic wall. You need all of these little things, protection herbs around the house, salt rings, sigils, amulets, anything and everything you need. Because one even kicked my dog, okay? You need this to protect them, because there's only so much you can do yourself at once. Because trust me, especially when you make this wall, it will drain you so badly for a while. I'm kind of past that now. I'm used to it. I have it up all the time now, and it's just there. I wake up, boom, instant. It's just something you gotta learn to deal with. And if you're going to have children, you really need to talk about the dangers of it with your partner and make sure that they're willing to walk down this road with you. Because if not, you need to reevaluate yourself. Because there's nothing you can do. Can't stop it, can't turn it off. You need to learn how to cope, how to deal, and how to protect. And that is all I really have on it. I have had countless more spiritual, ghosty experiences. Have them every day. If you want to know more, give me a shout. I'll let you know. Or tweet me. I can talk to you about it anytime. I'm not afraid to. And the last thing I want to end with is if you have this and people don't understand, I do. And it is very hard growing up without a support system for it, and people just telling you, no, it was a bad dream. No, you're making it up. I know something just pushed you into a wall, but no, you tripped. You need to build up your intuition. You need to believe in yourself. And while you may not feel you deserve this when it gets scary, I'm sorry, sweetheart. There ain't nothing you can do. You just need to learn how to deal. And that is all I have on this subject. It is a part of my daily life, and it is what I do. So, it was very nice to talk to you, and I know it was another lengthy video, but I had my notes and I stuck to them, so be proud of me. And if you want any other topics discussed, just let me know, and I will talk to you again soon.